Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Diane.
Morning.
Good morning. Hi, Helen.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am really good. The sun's shining, so anytime the sun's shining I'm good.
But for how long?
I know, but I'll take as long as they give us with it.
Me too.
I'm sick of the clouds and the rain and, enough already. People were
You got
saying,
a haircut.
Yeah, actually a couple weeks ago. It's just starting to grow back in. A different girl did it because I couldn't get to mine, and she cut it quite short. But it grows. My hair grows so fast anyway. So
looks nice.
Thank you. Hi, Sarah.
Good morning, Diane.
Good morning, dear. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am very, very well too. Oh,
I do like the short haircut.
Oh, well, thank you.
And that's the one nice thing. Hair does grow back.
It grows back really fast. Mine does. So.
And this time of year, especially.
For sure, yeah. And it's just with the Jeep, the longer hair is just too much. It's good. You got to keep it short in the summertime.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I agree.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi.
Good
Mine
morning.
isn't growing fast enough.
yeah, Dawn was really, really short.
It looks nice, Dawn.
Yeah, it does.
It does look nice.
No.
I think so too.
Everybody says so, but me.
Well, you know what? Everybody has to look at you, so that's good. It's good that everybody thinks it looks good. How many times do we actually look in a mirror? Not that many.
I can't make it do anything though. It just when I wake up in the morning, I look like I have a mohawk because it all goes.
Oh dear. Well, I'm glad you comb it for us anyway, because it would probably get a nice. Hi, Marianne. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Awesome. And Sue Lear, you're with us too this morning. Good morning.
Yes.
And hi.
I'm
And
doing
Di. Di left us already. She was here in I got one more.
I'm here. I didn't leave.
Oh, okay. There you are.
I had to get my book.
Oh, okay. Yes. The Essentials, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Sue Fuller is here. Hi, Sue. Oh, she's still connecting. There she's connecting. Looks like she's got hers too this morning. Good morning, Sue. How are you?
Good.
Good. We're doing okay. We're having a good day?
Yeah, she's okay.
Good. I am very, very glad. I will keep an eye on because we've got a few more people here. I know Beth just sent me a text and said she can't be with us this morning because she has to go to the dentist. And I said, well, we'd be having a lot more fun here.
Yeah.
But I guess going to the dentist is essential when you have to. So, but she said she would watch the recording. I know who's not here is Barb Dady's not here yet.
She's probably making the scones.
Oh, maybe that would be a really good idea. Yeah, she always brings scones to our meeting. But she did bring cookies when she came to the UFO the other day.
Yes, she did.
Which was really, really nice. So
I took the leftovers home and ate them all.
Did you really? That's why I send them home with you, because I was afraid I would do the same thing. I really, really like shortbread cookies. So
Me too.
Yeah. So I couldn't take them home because they just. And it's funny because nobody else in my house cares for shortbread cookies.
Oh.
And that makes it really bad because nobody else is going to eat them but you.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's
my husband got the last 4, and he was crazy about him. I had hit him from the beginning. but he found the last 4 and ate them all. So they were great.
That's funny.
I've actually done that with some things.
I love shortbread.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not good to eat all of them, but you want to have some of them. So, yeah, sometimes you do have to hide them. Okay, the block that we're doing today. Okay, looks like, hold it up, looks like this.
Oh,
Oh, right there.
very pretty.
I really, really like it. I don't know if anybody looked at the message when it came through, but I did, on the thing I had posted what we were going to do. So if you are taking notes, okay, or you have the book looks like this. It is the next one in the series after the one that we've been using for the last few months. It is volume 8, issue 2 of 2021. And don't worry if you don't have it, because I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. And it's called Blue Ribbon Ohio Star. And the quilt, actually, if you don't have the picture, the quilt looks like that. Okay, and if you have the book, it is on page 66, 67. And if we go to page 68, there's a depiction of the quilt right there. And it's one of those that's pretty simple. It's broken down into a few different steps. And each step is not difficult. I think each step is something we've already done before anyway. It's just put together in a little bit different way. Okay. Good morning, Katie.
Can I introduce you? This is Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Nice to meet you, too. We have a new girl. Oh, I know, thank God. That's right. So, yes, we have a new girl working here, which we desperately need some more help. Yeah, because Katie's not going to be here too much longer, although longer than she expected. Yes. If anybody is following and hasn't been in the store lately, Katie was due on the 29th, okay? And she went to the doctor last week, and the doctor took some measurements and said, "Oops, we're not ready yet. We're going to change it to August 13th."
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
That's a lot.
I was going to say, that's disappointing.
Yes. It is, when you expect to, then now you have to wait 2 more weeks, and especially if you're uncomfortable. But we get to keep her for 2 more weeks, so it's a bonus for us. Yeah. Love you too, hon.
Well, let's face it, that baby's going to come when he wants to.
Exactly. Babies come when they're ready. And evidently little Link is not ready yet, so he's happy where he is. So we get to keep her for a couple more weeks, and makes life a lot better. Okay, so if you do not have the books, okay, I am going to tell you what you need for this block. Okay, it's not much. It's a few print fabrics. They call for 5 different print fabrics in this block. Mine aren't all print, but they're either print or they're background. So 1 background and a few prints. Okay, the center. Oops, there's Barb Beatty. Good morning. I just let you in. You're welcome. Bye. Yeah, it really helps to have that number. Okay, so there's 5 different prints. You can repeat a print if you want to. Actually, on this one, I would have repeated this print out in my border, except for I didn't have enough of it. And so I found this back order in my fat quarter bins. And it's got a little bit different pattern on it. This has a little bit more pattern than the outside one does, but the color was the same. And so I would have repeated, but again, you can repeat if you want, or you can just stick with the 5 different ones. Okay? So print number 1 is my center square. And the one that I'm going to make today, the center square is plain. When I found out you only needed 1 of these, you don't need to repeat it. I found this little piece that I had used part of the fabric for something else, and there happened to be able to cut a 3.5-inch square and center my little butterfly on that. So that one worked out really, really well. I had to cut this on point, but it didn't matter because I, was connecting it to other straight edges. So it didn't matter if the edges were biased. You're just careful when you sew it. And it came out just fine. So the center square is your first block, and that's a 3.5-inch square. Okay, that takes care of print number 1. Okay, the second block that we're going to construct is this one right here. Okay, this
Hourglass.
It's an hourglass block. Okay, and the hourglass block, you have 2 fabrics, 1 print fabric, so this is print number 2, and your background fabric. And what you need are 2 5-inch background squares and 2 5-inch print number 2 squares. Oh, okay, thank you. Dawn is coming back. There she is.
Diane,
Okay, there you are.
I know, but I don't know where you are or what.
I will go back and repeat. We've only done 2 things, okay?
Okay.
Okay? For your first part of constructing this block, for the center, you need a 3.5-inch square of print number 1. Okay. That's the real easy one.
Yeah, but I can't find a piece of paper now. It needs to know the book.
Okay.
3.5
book.
inch.
Okay, the book is this one that has her with her flowers on the front of it. It's volume 8, issue 2. The last couple months we've been doing issue 1. This is issue 2.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna go get my book. Thank you.
I have issue 3. Okay.
Okay, yeah, a lot of people have issue 3. We don't have issue 3 in the store yet. So, yeah, go figure, huh?
Long time to get that one.
Pardon me?
It took a long time for that one to actually arrive at the house.
Yeah, I think Sue Lear sent me a note when she got hers in the mail saying, you're going to love the new book. It's got a lot of great things in it. And I'm still looking for it. We still don't have it.
I have it.
Well, okay, so I will actually, so probably by next month, we'll probably be using that. Although there's one other one in here that I really like that I'd like to do. So we'll see what happens. We're not going to run out of patterns to use, that's for sure.
Okay, which one is it?
Okay, it is called Blue Ribbon Ohio Star. It's on page 66, 67 it starts.
66.
Okay, and then the depiction of the quilt again looks
Got it.
like this. Okay, so for the center, if you're just making one block, for the center you need a 3.5-inch square. Okay, for the next part, we're making 4 hourglass blocks. Okay, that look like that. You need 2 5-inch background squares and 2 5-inch print number 2 squares. This is print number 1, this is print number 2. Okay. The next thing that we're going to construct is the corner unit. That's this thing right here. Okay, for the corner unit, you need 1 5-inch background square. You need 1 5-inch print number 3 square. So on mine, this was the print number 3 right here. Was actually the coordinating fabric to go with this one that had the butterfly on it. Okay, so 1 5-inch background, 1 5-inch number 3 print, 4 2-inch background squares. That would be these. And 4 2-inch print number 4 squares. That would be here. Okay, so that will make that whole block. Okay, so these are my 2 for the new one. Okay, for the hourglass block, I would need 2 of these and 2 of those. It'll make the hourglass block. And for my corner blocks, okay, there is, okay, 1 5-inch, 1 5-inch, and then you've got these 4 little 2-inch squares and those 4 little 2-inch squares.
Print number 1 is in the first, and where's
Print number 1 is the center.
Okay, print number 2 is what?
Print number 2 is the one in the hourglass block.
Print. Huh. I'm sorry, I have, the first block is 2 5-inch background.
The hourglass block is 2 5-inch background and 2 5-inch print number 2.
Print number 2. I get it.
Okay? Okay,
Yep.
We got the corner unit, and then that makes the block, and then the sashing unit. Okay? If you are doing the sashing unit and you are cutting these strips, because we're going to cut, these are all 1.5-inch strips that you need. And they would either be print number 5 or background, okay, for the sashing units. Okay, if you are cutting these strips out of the width of the fabric, the whole width of the fabric, okay, I'll give it to you 2 ways because mine came out of a fat quarter, okay? Sometimes leftover fabrics that we have from doing other blocks, you might not have that much. But I will tell you if you're cutting from the width of the fabric, and then I'll tell you how much you need overall if you're just cutting from scrap pieces. Okay? If you're cutting from the whole width of the fabric, okay, you need 2 1.5-inch prints. Okay, that's print number 5. You would need 2 full strips of this. You would need 1 full width of fabric 1.5-inch strip of your background. Okay. In addition to those 2 measurements, You're going to need two 1.5-inch strips that are 8 inches long, and one 1.5-inch 8-inch strip out of the light fabric. Okay, that's if you have a big piece of fabric that you're cutting from.
Say that last part again, Di. 2 1.5 inch.
Okay, if you're cutting from the whole width of the fabric, you need two 1.5-inch strips of the print,
Yeah.
one 1.5-inch strip out of the background, and then in addition to those two, you need a little bit more each of the print and the light. So in addition, you need, everything's still going to be 1.5, but you'll need two 8-inch strips out of the print and an additional one 8-inch strip out of the light.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. If you're cutting just from smaller pieces all together, you'll need, out of your print number 5, you'll need a total of 110 inches. And out of the background, you would need a total of 80 inches. Okay? Okay. So what we're going to do, I did some of the sewing ahead of time just because there was a lot of repeat thing to do, and you don't need to sit and, watch me sew all that for the thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start our construction, and our construction is take your 3.5-inch square. Okay, in this case it's plain, and that's gonna go in the middle of your block. You don't have to do anything with that yet. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our hourglass units. Okay, and our hourglass units, and this, if you have the book, this is on page 69. Okay, in our hourglass units, we have two of our print number 2 and 2 of our background. And what we're going to do on these is we are going to place these 2 right sides together. Okay. And we're going to mark a line down the center from corner to corner, diagonal. Okay, and then we're going to sew 1/4 of an inch either side of that line. So you can take and just use whatever guide you use, your foot, and sew 1/4 of an inch, or if you're more comfortable, you can mark that 1/4 of an inch either side of center, or if you have that magic ruler, you can just lay it down and only mark. You don't have to mark the line down the middle. You can just mark either side, but 1/4 of an inch either side of center we're going to sew. Okay, so I'm going to take this over and I'm going to sew this one. Okay, so I've sewn either side of center, and now we're going to take our ruler and we're going to cut on the diagonal, okay, from point to point on that center line. Okay, and we're going to do that twice. Okay, so they look like that, and now we're going to press, and I press towards the dark, so we're going to turn those over. And my little pressing hand over here. And I might have run out of bobbin thread because this one didn't stay connected. See what we got over here. That might have been the one that I was sewing yesterday and was interrupted. That could be. There's still bobbin thread there. Okay, so we've got those pressed. Now we're going to take these squares, keep them paired up, okay, and we're going to place them right sides together with the background over the print and the print over the background. Our seams will nest. Okay. We're going to nest the seams and keep everything lined up. And that. And we're going to come down to this end and make sure that this end is also nested. Everything stays together nicely. Okay, and then when we have those nested, we're going to take a ruler and we're going to draw a line again on the diagonal from point to point so that this line of stitching will be actually perpendicular to our first line of stitching. So our first line of stitching was here. This one is going to go across that way. Okay, so we're going to put these two together. And we're going to mark this guy. Okay, and now we're going to stitch a 1/4 inch away from that. Now, again, you could mark your 1/4 inch line, or you can just use your foot and stitch a 1/4 inch away from that line on either side. comes out. So now we have our stitching going either side of our line going this way. So now we're going to cut on that center line. Okay, and then we're going to open this up, and it's going to be our hourglass block. And we're going to press that again. Okay, so it looks like that. Now on this one, I'm going to take and open the seam up. So we're going to take it, close it back up after we press it, pull that apart and twist it. Whoop, there we go. And you're going to have your cute little 4-patch in the center. Okay, but it takes the bulk out of the center, and it'll lay a lot flatter for you. Okay, so there's one. Okay, and here's two. And one more. Okay, so now we have our 4 hourglass units, and we're going to trim these up to 3.5. They give you quite a leeway, so let me get my square ruler. Okay, so we'll put the square ruler on. I'm going to put our diagonal line down the center, and okay, if you have your Tucker trimmer, which I was using mine at home, and unfortunately it's still on my sewing table. So if you're just using a regular square ruler, your diagonal line is going to go down this center seam, and your 3.5-inch line will hit this seam where your print and your background come together. And my 3.5-inch line here is right on the edge of the seam there. Making sure you keep that diagonal line and point on the center there. And we're going to trim here and here. And then turn it around, keeping that diagonal line on the center again, and your 3.5-inch line on the outside edge. I'm going to trim the other 2 sides so that I have a 3.5-inch hourglass block. And I need do that 3 more times. Okay, so the 3.5-inch line is going to go on that seam line, and our diagonal line of our ruler is going to go down the diagonal seam there. See? Okay, there's your 4 perfect hourglass blocks. And they are going to go around your center block with the background against the center block, which is really cool because what that will do is when we sew this together, that will create a square and a square for your center, like so. Okay? Very cool. Okay, so far so good. So we've got our center, we've got those 4 block number 2, which is our hourglass units, and then we're going to make our corner units. And our corner units are just as easy. Okay, on your corner units, you're going to mark, you're going to put your 2 5-inch squares together. Okay, right sides together, like so. And you're going to mark diagonal lines going this way and that way. Okay, and then you are going to sew either side of your diagonal lines. Okay, on the hourglass units, we had a lot of extra fabric, so we could sew a good 1/4-inch lines on there. On this one, you don't have a lot to square up. So what I do, and hopefully I can get the camera down here, okay, when I do these, I mark these, and what I will do is take my center line and put my 1/4-inch line on that center line first. And then I move this down so that that center line is running between the 1/4-inch mark and the 1/8-inch mark. So it's actually like 3/16. It gives you plenty of seam allowance in the block, but it gives me that little extra room so that I can square each one of these up. Because to me, that's more important. It just helps everything go together and every point match up if you can square your blocks up after you've sewn them. Okay, so instead of doing a full 1/4-inch away, or even just a scant 1/4-inch, which is a little bit less than or more than this, is just take this, and can you see my green line there? running down. It's halfway between the 1/4 inch mark and the 1/8 inch mark. And then I'll draw my line and sew on those lines.
Hello?
Okay? So you can see that there's still plenty of room for seam allowance, but it is going to allow me to square things up. Okay, so you're going to sew either side of that line, and then we're going to take this block, and this over here. There we go. Okay, and we're going to cut, okay, on that center line from corner to corner. Okay, leave everything laying just like it is and cut the block from corner to corner down that other center line. Okay, and then we're going to cut the block in half horizontally. So that is, it's a 5-inch block, so 2.5 inches up from this edge. Let us cut here. Okay, and then we're going to cut it in half vertically. Again, 2.5 inches from the side edge. We're going to cut it again. And then when we open these up, we will have 8 half-square triangles. Okay, and we're going to take these, and we're going to press those.
Diane, it's Barb.
Yeah, Barb.
Would as long as we're cutting all this stuff ahead of time, and we're probably not using pre-cuts, which is predetermining this 5-inch square thing, I think, for Missouri Star. I wondered if for this set of the blocks, the corner units, if we were to cut them 5 1/4 instead of 5 inches, it might just make our lives simpler.
It would make your lives a lot simpler.
I understand the 5-inch because they're probably recommending pre-cut stuff. So,
and that's what I've been, in her earlier books, there weren't as many pre-cuts. The patterns weren't pre-cut. But I know that Missouri Star now is becoming quite popular because of pre-cuts.
Mm-hmm.
That they are featuring. That's one of their big things now, is to have pre-cuts. So I'm seeing that a greater proportion of her patterns are all based on pre-cuts.
Yeah.
So anytime you have to square things up, and you have the option of cutting from yardage,
Mm-hmm.
I always cut my pieces larger. It just gives me that room to square things up so that when you put these blocks together, sometimes you just struggle to have everything match up. On this one, and I don't know whether you can see, but I didn't, I wasn't particularly as fussy about trying to match things up. And when I put things together, they all matched up perfectly. Okay, even this part right here, which is difficult sometimes to do, where you got this block matching up to that block and coming straight across, and you don't want to cut that corner or anything, but because everything was squared up ahead of time, everything came together.
We expect that of you, Diane.
Well, I hate to disappoint you that it doesn't always happen like that.
Okay.
And sometimes I've learned to let little things go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so nice when it comes out like that.
Yeah. Okay.
It just makes you feel good. So yes, but thanks, Barb, because that's just such a valid point. Is to just make things a little bit larger. So if it says cut them 5, I'll cut them 5 1/4. A lot of times what I've noticed lately is on some of these things, they have you cut things 3 7/8. I would always go up to 4 1/4. It's because if you're going to square it up, why go through all the bother of cutting something 3 7/8? That makes no sense to me. Okay, so here we go. We've got these little guys, and we have to square these up. I had my little square ruler, but I don't have time to go get it, so we'll just make do. Okay, so these have to be squared up to 2 inches. And if you can see this, there's just barely enough room that I can square it up on all sides. Okay, so the diagonal line goes down the middle. The 2-inch line goes in from the left and up from the bottom if you're right-handed. Just the opposite if you're left-handed. So it lets me take a little bit off, okay, those 2 sides, and then turn it around. Okay, and put the 2-inch line now on my bottom edge and my left-hand edge, and be able to cut a little bit more so that I have a perfect 2-inch square, and it is going right up into the points. So again, that helps in the matching up. Okay, so we'll do this one. Okay, turn it around. Okay, 2-inch line goes on the bottom, and on the left-hand side, my diagonal line is going down the center. And, okay, I'm just going to do 2 and create 1 corner, because, again, we always seem to, I have too much to talk about, and we always run out of time. Okay. So we're going to create 1 corner here for you, because the other 3 corners will be exactly the same. Okay. There is if you have the book, okay, there is a mistake in here. Okay. And it's just in the one picture. Okay. On page 70, if you have the book, okay, step number 3. Okay, they show you creating this piece with, that you get 8 of them out of the 1 block, and it shows you what the 8 are going to look like. They're all going to look like that. But when you put them together, don't use this configuration because it's incorrect.
Oh.
Okay? All right? So I looked at it, I thought, what are they doing? And I went back and looked, but what we're going to do is the white square is fine, okay? Your print square is fine. Those are going to go like that. But those little half-square triangles that we just created, other one here, okay? They both go facing inward toward the center, the dark one, okay? This one is fine, like so, okay? But they have this one facing downward like that. You don't want to do that. That one's going to go. So basically what you have out here, okay, if this were a white square, okay, you're going to have another hourglass block. Okay, so make it look like an hourglass block. Don't make it look like this picture here. You can just take it and cross this one off. And they both want to look like that, pointing towards center. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. Okay, like so. Okay, and you're going to sew these 2 together. And you're going to sew these 2 together. Okay, so we'll go and do that. so there's my pieces. Okay, like so. And I'm going to press these away from the half square triangle units. Okay, so this piece is going to be pressed toward my print square, and this piece is going to be pressed toward the background square. This one and that one, and then I'm going to sew these together to create my corner unit. So we're going to nest our seams. Make sure they come together, line everything up. And because of the nesting seams, if you just want to stick a pin in there to make sure they stay nested. Okay, so that one is sewn, and then we open that up, and that's what our block is going to look like. Okay, so we can press that. Okay, so there is a corner unit. And that's going to fit in just like that. Okay? All right, and then you just make your other 3 corner units, and you're going to sew them together, you know, 2 squares, these 2 squares, those 2 squares, then add the 3rd one on, then sew your rows together. Okay, then we're going to, because this is a smaller size block than what we have been making for other blocks, we're going to put sashing on this right away. And sashing is a great way to add sashing to planer blocks because it's a little bit fancier. It is a great way if you need a border on a quilt and don't want to put a plain border on. It's just a great way to do it. It's a checkerboard, okay, cornerstones. So what we're going to do is you are going to need, and I did sew my pieces together so we could do this, okay? Okay, you are going to need out of the print, and this is why you have to have more print than you have to have background. We're going to create a 1.5 inch print, 1.5 inch background, 1.5 inch print. And we're going to do this twice. Okay? Twice, once if you have the width of the fabric. Again, I had a fat quarter, so I had to do a little bit more. But we have to cut 9.5 inch units off of this. Okay, so enough to cut for 9.5 inch units. Okay, so on these, what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to square off our end. We have to have a 9.5 inch unit for each of the 4 sides. I'm going to put this on and measure the 9.5. And another 9.5. Okay, now we're also going to need 4 1.5-inch units. So if you can get a 1.5-inch unit or a couple 1.5-inch units out of the piece that's left there, you're going to need 4 of these little guys. Okay, if you can't get it out of that, that's why we made this extra piece over here. We made an extra piece over here, okay, of our print, background print. So if you don't have enough from these, you can get 4 of them out of here. Okay, now it looks like I'm going to get 2 out of this one and then 2 out of my other one, of the big ones and one of the little, so I'll have to have 2 more out of here. But you're going to need 4 of these all together, and you're going to need 4 of these all together. Okay, so far so good? Okay, then set that aside. Put this in, because we're going to create one side. So I need my 9.5-inch unit. Okay, I'm going to need another one out of here. That's my 9.5-inch unit, and this is the longer one. Let me just square this piece up. Cut a 1.5-inch piece off of here. Okay. Now, out of the ones that we made that are the background and the print in the background, okay, I'm going to need 8 1.5-inch units off of here. Okay, and then these are all going to be 1.5-inch pieces. 1, 2, okay, got a 6 out of those, so I'll have to get 2 out of my other piece. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to take 2 of those pieces and 1 of these. And we're going to sew those together to make our cornerstone. Okay, so this is going to go on here. Again, nest your seams so that they stay lined up. Okay, that pin is added. And it doesn't want to go in the fabric. It's time to get rid of it. And then we're going to add the other one so that we have a checkerboard. finishing up a class. I'll be right out in a little bit. Okay, so there is my little checkerboard cornerstone. Okay, and we can press that. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to create 4 of these. All right. We're going to take one of our 9.5 inch and we're going to sew this to one side. And we're going to sew a second one to the other end. Okay, that will take up our 4 cornerstones. So when we get ready with our block down here, and then we will take 2 of these pieces, these 9.5 inch units that don't have any cornerstones attached, and you can sew them to the bottom and to the top of your block. Okay, so that they will actually go here. Okay, and one at the top. Then once those are sewn on, then you will take the units that you've attached the cornerstones to, okay, and add those to the sides. And that's your border, made up of your sashings. It will bring it up to about the size of our other blocks. And your finished block should look something like that. Okay, does anybody have any questions?
No,
No?
no,
Pretty clear?
looks good to me.
Okay. Anybody else?
No,
Nope, we're all set?
Yep.
Okay, well, if while you're constructing it, if anybody has any questions, contact me, please. And let me know what's going on. And hopefully we'll have some finished blocks by the next time and that you can share with us. Or you can put them on the website and we could see them there.
Diane, what was your number again?
Area code 716 440 5245.
Okay.
Okay?
Diane, I have a question.
Okay.
The last one in here, you called it the Snowball Star. I think was that the one social distance hug?
The last one for June was called the Snowball Star, and it was in Volume 8, Issue 1.
Yeah, but they don't have a Snowball Star in here. What one was it?
It was in, I don't have the book with me, but it was the last book. This is Volume 8, Issue 2. The last book was Volume 8, Issue 1.
Oh, issue 1. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. All righty. Anything else?
Diane,
Yeah.
next Friday I'm signed up for your foot class, but I won't be able to watch or be there. I
Okay.
have a doctor's appointment, so I will watch it.
Okay, fine. Good. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Anything else? Okay, well, everybody have a wonderful month. If I don't see you, hopefully I'll see you next month. Enjoy some of the summer. We still got a little bit left, hopefully. And hopefully we'll get a bunch of sunshine and beautiful days. So have fun with the block. Contact me if you need anything.
Goodbye.
And